Hey, my name is Jason Creel and you're watching A Lawn Care Life. Today I'm going to give you 5 tips on how to start a lawn care business. Stay tuned. For many people, starting a lawn care business or just any business is a dream that they have, and it was a dream for me, and it's something that became a reality. But for many people, sometimes the dream becomes a nightmare because they don't go about it the right way. So hopefully these tips will help you. Let's get right to it. Tip number 1 when starting a lawn care business is this: have a plan. Okay, and what I mean by have a plan, you think, well, I don't know how to write out some big formal business plan. I'm not necessarily asking you to do that, though it wouldn't be a bad idea, especially if you're trying to get financing from a bank or something like that. They're probably going to require that of you. But just when I'm saying have a plan, I'm saying, what are you trying to accomplish with your business, and what is your business going to look like the first year, in 3 years, in 5 years, in 10 years? So let's say you're going to cut grass. So, well, one, you got to decide, is that what you're going to do? Are you going to do landscaping, mowing, weed control, and fertilization? You want to be an irrigation guy? I mean, what are you trying to do? And then what is going to be your strategy within that? Because I don't think a plan is, we do it all. We just, if you need it done, we'll do it. We'll be there tomorrow. We're the cheapest price, and we'll do, have a plan as far as what area you're going to work in. So let's say I'm going to mow grass, okay? Now, what would a plan look like? At least the bare minimums of what I'm saying you need to establish. Well, think, what type of properties am I going to go after? Am I going to target residential properties or commercial properties? If I'm going to do residential properties, am I going to go after small residentials, medium-sized, large ones? If I'm doing commercial, small, like little doctor's offices and things like that, or am I going after apartment complexes, churches, school systems, athletic fields, the big stuff? So understanding what you're trying to accomplish is going to help you, because guess what? Depending on what your strategy is, what your plan is, and who you're targeting as your potential customers are going to determine how you market your business, what kind of equipment you need to buy, and what kind of manpower you're going to need to be able to accomplish that goal. If I'm saying I'm going to target apartment complexes, then working by myself is probably not a great option, because the truth is, I'm not sure you could even finish in a day. I mean, you're going to be out there multiple days, so you're going to think, I need people from the very beginning. If you're saying, I'm going to start working on, residential properties, then you say, well, maybe I could work by myself and I could start with one lawnmower. But like I said, if you're going after larger properties, you need more equipment, more people. It doesn't mean one's right or wrong. It's just understanding what you're trying to do. Tip number 2 is starting a lawn care business. Don't reinvent the wheel, okay? Let me share a story with you that I originally heard this from a guy named Dan Miller, who wrote a book called 48 Days to the Work You Love. And in the book, he shares a story about Domino's Pizza, and how Domino's, according to the story, if I remember correctly, was the first pizza chain to start offering delivery. Okay, so they were selling pizza, everybody's selling pizza, and we start delivering pizza, and what happened? It blows up, and now, of course, just about every pizza place delivers. And they made millionaires all over the country because they took what was already working and made a small tweak to make it better. But they didn't reinvent the wheel, okay? They didn't just go totally say, well, we're going to sell pizzas and chicken fingers, or pizza and burritos, and say we're just going to be outside the box. They just took what they were already doing and other companies were doing that had been successful and made it better. And that's what I would suggest to you when it comes to lawn care business. You don't say, I'm going to do something totally different that's never been seen before, and that's how I'm going to make my mark. There's a lot of companies out there mowing weekly, but I'm going to mow, twice a week or 3 times a week for these customers. I'm going to go after only the high-end ones and have it immaculate, okay? Maybe that would work. I personally wouldn't try that, because I think, while you might get a few customers, they'll pay you top dollar, you might have a hard time filling up a route with those type of clients. Let me boil it down to this. Look at what successful companies are doing, whether in your area or outside your area, and sometimes not even just in the lawn care industry, but say, what makes a successful company in another service industry? Is it their marketing? How are they marketing their business? How do they become efficient? What does their pricing look like on the scale? Are they toward the high end, the low end? And there's different models for success, but this goes back to having a plan and then taking a plan and seeing what other people are doing to be successful. And doesn't mean you can't try to improve on it. You can, but don't reinvent the wheel and think I'm just going to go at this lawn care thing a totally different way. What you do is see what's already working and execute that plan better than anybody else. I mean, you see this all the time in football. You know, you rarely does somebody come along and who just reinvents how we're going to play offensive football or defensive football, and they develop a whole new scheme. What they do is they take a scheme that already works, whatever that is, and there's different ones. Some run the ball more, some pass the ball more, but you can take that offensive strategy or defensive strategy and make improvements to it. But a lot of times it just comes down to having a successful strategy and who can execute it the best. So I would say that make a business plan, make sure it's one that has been successful for other people, and then execute it better than anybody else. Point number 3, and there may be some disagreement over this, and I even go back and forth in my own mind, but I would say tip number 3 is avoid the financial strain on your business. You know how much money you have to invest in a business, and you know how much or I hope you do, how much you're going to need to be able to make it that first year. What are your living expenses? Do you have some reserves you can fall back on that first year? Don't, understand, equipment is great and is necessary to be successful. More expensive equipment is usually more expensive for a reason. It's usually better, okay? But at the same time, financial strain that the payments and things like that can put on a young or new company can really set you back as far as your potential. So what I'm saying is don't feel like you can't get nice equipment. And if you've got plenty of money, then that's fine. But don't put such a financial burden on your company with the nicest equipment that it puts a real strain on you personally as the business owner. I mean, you talk about stressful. It's stressful when you don't have the finances you need to operate your business. So I, try to encourage people to take a conservative approach financially until you get started, because it's always easy to upgrade equipment down the line. And what we see over and over again is you see people who bought way too much equipment, way too nice of a mower. They didn't survive their first year, whatever reason, the lawn business wasn't for them. And you can then buy that mower at a significantly reduced price because they're no longer in business. So, but don't put that stress and strain on you. Just make sure your business is surviving and successful first, and upgrade equipment later. Like I said, if you got plenty of money, then buy whatever mower you want. Tip number 4 when you start a lawn care business, and I think this is something that can be a little bit awkward, but sometimes you have to just tell everybody you know that, hey, I'm starting a lawn care business, because some of your initial clients are going to be friends and family and neighbors and people like that, and they want to help you because they know you. Now maybe they know you and that's the reason they don't want to help you, and that's a whole different topic. Maybe that you've proven that, oh, I know him and that's exactly why I don't want to let him handle my property. But hopefully that's not the case, and they want to give you a chance and support you in this new venture. Now you can tell people verbally, and like I said, that is helpful. You can ask for their business or don't ask for the business, but a lot of times you'll just let them know. But you can also use social media, Facebook, things like that, to let people know, hey, we're in business. And to your friends and family, you can let them, they know that you're new at it and that you need the help. But to the rest of the world, as you're trying to market your business, I personally try not to let people know that I knew. Matter of fact, I'm trying to communicate the opposite to them. I'm not going to lie about it, but I want to have a professional image for my business, a logo. I want everything to look as if this is an established business that I can entrust my lawn to. And tip number 5 when you're starting a lawn care business is to really work hard that first year or first 6 months, or maybe for somebody it's going to be 2 years, but to work as hard as you can to get your business up to full capacity, where you have a full route, where you are surviving. What I'm saying is maybe not thriving, but you're past that point where you're like, I don't know if my business is gonna make it or not. So I would say do what you've got to do to get to that point. If that means, like it did for me, sometimes working a second job or working on weekends, or doing what it takes to make sure that your business survives. I mean, you probably heard statistics about how many businesses don't make it out of their first year. To me, that fear of failure is quite motivating, probably more so than even the desire to succeed. And just understand that first year or two can be difficult, but if you will persevere, the customers become easier to acquire later on once you're established. For many people, it is worth the difficulties early on to see the business succeed. And from my experience, year 2 has been much better than year 1, but you have to make it through year 1, obviously. I hope these tips are helpful for you. I've got some resources out there. Of course, my channel's got plenty of videos to help people starting in lawn care business. For those of you looking for more help, I sell a video course that helps people. If you want me to help mentor you as you start and succeed in your first year in the lawn care business, I can do that through a program called the Lawn Care Business Launch. There'll be a link in the description for that. Also have the Lawn Care Life conference coming up, presented by Jobber. Really excited about that. Really excited about that coming up. I'll put a link to that in the description as well. Subscribe to the channel if you hadn't done so. And listen, the lawn care business is a good business. I've said that over and over and over again. And you're going to hear people tell you it's not. But there's a lot of people in it, and a lot of people that are being very successful at it. And now there's a lot of people that don't make it, but it's not because the business is not a good opportunity. It's just like we've talked about, having a plan, being able to execute that plan so that your business can be successful. Let me hear from you in the comments. If you're thinking about starting a lawn business, you just started this year, how did it go? If you're thinking about starting next year, shoot me a comment. Talk to you later.